to click like, subscribe, the bell notification, and whatever else YouTube has you clicking on to support us. What's up, everyone? I'm the Kaiju no Kami from the Toku and Animation News Network here with
Kralka Kane.
And we have a new month for a new set of Kaiju no Kami versus AI videos. What are we kicking this month off with?
Well, we're actually celebrating this month. It's Women's History Month. So I figured throughout all of these, we'll talk about female characters and empowerment of the female variety. So we are going to kick off our first with top 10 iconic female superheroes.
Iconic female superheroes.
So this is not tokusatsu. This is primarily based on comic books.
Alright, I've got expectations for this. There better be a couple X-Men in there. A certain Teen Titans character.
A Teen Titans character, okay.
Raven.
Should I break your heart
a
now?
certain spy from Marvel.
Well, can we at least just get to the list?
Alright, fine. I'm just
Rather
saying,
than you, like, saying there should be this and this
no,
and this
there
and
better
this.
be. Otherwise, we're going to have a bit of a problem going on here.
You can fight with ChatGPT if you have a problem.
Okay, come on.
Okay, Jesus. So one thing I did for this list is I asked for the top 10 characters, who they were created by, and when their first appearance was. So I am hoping you know your comic book origins pretty damn well, the fact check, since this is a versus video.
Well, not... It depends on the character. Some characters I don't know off the top of my head.
Well, have your cell phone there.
I could grab the Marvel and DC encyclopedias, but it's okay.
Wow, you're not going to go clear, like, really into it? Alright, numero uno. I actually asked you about this one just to make sure if I needed to rerun it again. The first iconic female superhero is Wonder Woman from DC Comics. And AI says that she was created by William Moulton Marston and H.G. Peter. Now, I thought there was a documentary, I didn't get a chance to watch it, that talked about the origins, like there was like some throuple or something where there were actual women involved in her creation.
Well, yes. Marston's wife and their life partner.
Okay, they were a throuple. Okay, then I was right. I was like, there's got to be something, because I thought he was like into it.
Yeah, because Marston was the writer, and what's the other name?
H.G. Peter.
He was the artist.
Now, so I'm assuming the reason why they didn't credit the wife and their girlfriend, husband and wife's girlfriend, because they were swingers apparently, is because of the time she was created. Because her first appearance was in All-Star Comics.
Oh, shoot. Continue reading.
All-Star Comics number 8 from 1941. Does that sound about right?
All-Star Comics number 8? Yes.
Now, for anyone who is not familiar with Wonder Woman, basically from what I have from AI here, which is pretty accurate to a degree, the Amazonian warrior princess Diana of Themyscira is one of the most recognizable superheroes ever. She embodies strength, compassion, and justice.
Justice!
Anything that you want to mention about Wonder Woman? Is this a fair entry for the top 10? Since basically she was one of the first?
I mean, it makes sense because she is DC's most popular female superhero.
Really?
Well, she had her own TV series,
Well,
her own cartoon series.
I watched Wonder Woman, the TV series.
Obviously, she had her own couple of movies recently from the EU. So it makes sense. And yeah, she's done a lot of stuff throughout the years. In the 70s, she lost her powers, so she became a secret agent.
Secret agent woman, secret. It doesn't work like secret agent man, but I want to be appropriate.
And then they realized that was a stupid idea, so they gave her back her powers.
What?
And then...
Was it really that bad?
I've actually not read the comics themselves, but I've heard it was not a very good time for Wonder Woman fans. And then George Perez in the 80s brought her back to her Greek roots, where he went all out and made, I think it was Ares became her main antagonist for a while while he did the series. And then...
Well, I know in the Justice League cartoon shows, Ares was an antagonist for her.
Well, no, they made that Hades.
I thought it was Ares.
No, they didn't... I don't recall Ares in the cartoon.
Okay.
I remember Hades.
All right, do you want to go on, or
did they... Now you've got me confused. But, go on.
Okay. No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get you confused. It's very easy, but I didn't mean to. All right, number 2. I personally don't like this character, but it's Captain Marvel. Carol Danvers, specifically, from Marvel Comics, created by Roy Thomas and Gene Colan, or Colin. First appearance, Marvel Superheroes, number 13 from 1968.
So they're going with Miss Marvel.
Well, they call her Captain
Well, because
Marvel.
she's Captain Marvel.
Oh, formerly Miss Marvel became one of Marvel's most powerful heroes after gaining cosmic abilities. She's a key member of the Avengers.
Among others.
Well,
I
only like her for one thing.
Rogue?
Yes. And
Actually,
I know that's really shitty to say, but it's true for me.
No, and it's actually, I was going to say it is true. Well, even in one of the comics I was just reading, leading up to Inferno, Wolverine and Rogue got captured on Genosha, and Rogue gets knocked out, gets her powers taken away, so Carol takes over her mind so that Carol can use her powers in Rogue's body. So, because her personality is still permanently in Rogue's mind.
Well, that's what I thought.
Even though she is awake and no longer in a coma, as binary, and is traveling the universe with the Starjammers and Professor X and Lilandra.
It sounds like a soap opera when you go on and name all of these random characters. I don't say random because I know all the characters you're talking about, but it really legitimately sounds like a soap opera when you put it all together like that.
Well, the X-Men comics in the 70s and 80s were like a manga series where it had all these characters, all these storylines, and all that stuff.
All intermingling with each other. Now, do the creators sound correct for her?
Roy Thomas?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
And Gene Colan? I'm assuming that's probably the artist.
Yes.
But
Roy Thomas is the writer. He wrote the Conan comics for Marvel in the 70s. He... Oh, geez, what else did he do? He's done so much stuff.
But he created the character of Miss Marvel.
Yes, if I recall correctly, yeah.
I didn't know she's been around since the late 60s, though.
60s or 70s?
It said 68.
Oh, okay.
That's why I'm asking you if that's correct.
It might be. She was... All I know is that, for me, the best Captain Marvel is Monica Rambeau.
So number 3. I'm going to go a little bit backwards with this. She was introduced in Giant Size X-Men Numero Uno. Storm, or...
Aurora Monroe.
Thank you, because every time I say her name, it sounds like gibberish coming out of my mouth. Aurora Monroe. But it sounds like gibberish coming out of my mouth. When you say it, it sounds completely normal. But she was created, per this, by Len Wein and Dave Cockrum.
Yep.
That sounds very interesting. Cockrum.
Dave Cockrum. He was the artist on X-Men from Giant Size throughout part of the Phoenix Saga. Then he left for a little while. Then he came back, and then he left.
And she was created in 1975.
Yep.
So 5 years before I was born. 7 years before you. And
she's one of Marvel's best superheroes.
Actually, it says one of Marvel's most respected heroines.
Mm-hmm.
And I know she's your favorite X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
So when I saw her on the list, at least at number 3, I was... Because it's not like it's any particular order, but to have her listed, I was like, okay, he's going to be happy and give this list some credibility. So, anything that you want to share about your favorite character?
No, she's total badass. She loses her powers for a little bit in the comics, gets them back, and even when she lost her powers, she kicks Cyclops' ass to become the leader of the X-Men.
Well, it says she's been a leader of the X-Men.
So, yeah, she's currently the leader of the X-Men in the comics I've read. Cyclops is the leader of X-Factor. And, she's the most powerful mutant next to Magneto, but she's the most powerful X-Men.
Why is she more powerful than Rogue when Rogue basically has an arsenal that's...
Because Rogue's still... Storm controls the elements.
Mm-hmm.
Rogue can only really borrow powers from people. The only reason she's invulnerable is because of Miss Marvel.
And that's because she basically took her powers to the point she went into a coma.
Mm-hmm.
So she basically took everything from Carol.
Well, I don't remember. I don't think Carol was in a coma for very long.
No, but to the point of that she went into a coma.
Yes.
Okay. So number 4. Or do you want to think
No.
Oh, okay. Number 4. This character is from Tales of Suspense, number 52. Created in 1964.
Black Widow?
Yes, by Stan Lee, Don Rico, and Don Heck. Is that correct?
I think so. Well, I don't know if Stan Lee truly created her, but Don Heck and...
Don Rico?
Yeah, did. I'm not sure if Stan Lee's credited because he was the editor-in-chief at that time.
Mm.
But, yes, because that was in Iron Man, I think?
It said Tales of Suspense.
Right, which I believe Tales of Suspense was Iron Man at the time.
Oh,
because
okay.
The Marvel drops had been doing these generic Tales series, Tales of Suspense, Tales to Astonish, and then they introduced superheroes in them, and then eventually they would give the superheroes their own comics. Because Tales of Suspense 100 became Iron Man 100 and Captain America 100.
Okay. So, the character has always been Natasha?
Well, Natasha has been the original.
Oh, okay.
It's been Natasha, it's been, oh God, what is the blonde girl's name?
Oh, that Florence Pugh plays?
Yes,
Yulia or...
Yelena.
Oh, Yelena, okay.
I think that's how.
But predominantly Natasha.
Yes.
Okay.
Until Natasha died.
Well, everybody dies to take a vacation and then comes back a few years later. Look at the most impactful death of a Robin ever, and he's now alive again.
Yep.
Okay, number 5 is actually the second oldest character.
Well, what do they say about Black Widow?
Oh, Natasha Romanoff is a master spy, assassin, and hand-to-hand combatant who has played a crucial role in Marvel's Avengers.
That and Daredevil.
Was she in Daredevil?
Yeah, she, for a while in the 80s, she was one of Daredevil's partners.
Really?
And because they fought the Hand together. In fact, she dies, and the Blind Master resurrects her to help Daredevil fight the Hand and Elektra, because the Hand brought Elektra back from the dead to be their leader.
So Elektra was generally either good or bad? She wasn't, like, always good?
She was good for a little bit, and then Bullseye killed her, and then the Hand resurrected her and made her their leader.
Is she evil still, or...?
No.
Oh.
I think in the comics she is currently Daredevil. Or was Daredevil for a little bit. Maybe Matt's back now.
Is she blind too?
No.
Okay. That's so weird. Okay.
But yeah, Black Widow, some of her best comics is when she was teamed up with Daredevil.
Oh,
Some of her best stories. Because that's how I knew her originally, was a Daredevil character. And then I knew her after when she'd helped Captain America and the Avengers.
Okay. I didn't even know she was in Daredevil. I learned something new. So number 5, as I shared, is the second oldest character on this list. She was created in 1959 and was created by Otto Binder and Al Plastino, and first appeared
Supergirl?
Kara Zor-El, Supergirl, who first appeared in Action Comics number 252. Yeah, from 1959.
Well, I had to think. I was like, okay, Silver Age.
Is it Silver Age?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because Silver Age started when Barry Allen got created in 57?
So Golden Age was from when to when then?
Golden Age was like 25 to 57, I think.
Okay. So she's on the earlier side of the Silver Age then.
Mm-hmm.
So Kara Zor-El, who is Superman's cousin, possesses similar Kryptonian powers and is a symbol of hope and resilience. And one fun fact is technically, if not for what happens, she is actually older.
Mm-hmm.
Because she was a teen when Kal-El
Was
born, but because of some random thing, she arrives to Earth after he's an adult.
It all changes depending on what.
What do you mean?
Because sometimes, like in the 90s, I want to say it was the 90s, she was like a clone that was. Alex Luthor, somebody cloned her and took somebody's body and turned her into Supergirl.
So she wasn't always related to Kal-El?
Yes and no.
Oh,
it's
okay.
Complicated.
But for the predominance, she's always been
she's his cousin.
Kal-El's cousin. Okay.
No, I meant like the way her storyline of how she got to Earth.
Oh, okay. But
and then she
got stuck in a vortex or something?
And then she became part of the Legion of Superheroes.
Isn't she Power Girl as well?
That was...
Or is that the clone?
Well, that was in Justice League Unlimited.
I
don't... At the time, there was no true origin for Power Girl. She's from the multiverse.
Oh, so she's not Kryptonian.
I don't know. I don't remember offhand.
So, I don't know much beyond that. She basically comes to Earth when she's still a teenager for the most part. And that's why she goes as Supergirl. Mainly because you get to see the hijinks of her being younger. Now, obviously, the live-action Supergirl TV series, they aged her up to her early 20s.
Did they really?
Yeah, she wasn't in high school in Supergirl. She was an employee at the Daily Bugle. Or was it the Daily Bugle, or was it the other newspaper?
I know her mostly from Legion of Superheroes.
And is the Daily Bugle the right newspaper?
Daily Bugle is...
That's why I was like, wait.
Daily Planet.
Daily Planet. I was like, wait, I'm saying the wrong newspaper. Damn it. All right. So, number 6. We're going back to Marvel. Because apparently Marvel is very top-heavy in this list. So this particular character was created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. And appeared in X-Men #1 from 1963. Jean Grey / Phoenix.
Okay, Phoenix part, yes. When you put the Phoenix part to her, I totally agree.
Well, it literally says Jean Grey / Phoenix.
I know. But I think Jean Grey is a lame-ass character when she was on her own, but then when she was Phoenix, or when the Phoenix Force copied her image, was the best time for Jean.
Well, this is what it says for her. One of the most powerful mutants in the Marvel Universe, Jean Grey has telepathic and telekinetic abilities and has been the host of the Phoenix Force. Which, to be fair, when I was reading Marvel Comics, nobody ever talked about the Phoenix Force. It wasn't until years later when you and one of our friends, Chrysalis Bloodborne, were talking about comics and you were both bitching and moaning about the Phoenix Force.
Well, Mr. Sinister is, I think, the first time I saw them call, because Sinister in Infernal calls it the Phoenix Force. Because he says to Madeline, when he reveals Madeline is a clone of Jean, he's like, yeah, if it hadn't been for the Phoenix Force, you would have never awakened.
So could we put Madeline Pryor here as well? Of like Jean Grey, Phoenix, Madeline Pryor, and any other clones that were made of her?
But Phoenix is my second favorite X-Man.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Not Jean Grey, even though they're the same person.
Phoenix. Yes.
It's kind of rude to say you don't like one half of her personality, but you like the other. Kind of rude, you know.
Too bad. But yes, Phoenix is the awesome part.
Now, this character I know this much about, that's next, is via DC Comics. And it's kind of funny because there's written a caveat here. This character was created by Jeff Johns, Grant Morrison, Greg Rucka, Mark Waid, and Keith Giffen. First appeared, modern version. I don't know about OG, but modern version in 52, number 7. Batwoman, Kate Kane.
Oh, okay.
So, I don't understand why they have to list modern version. Was Kate
Well,
Kane...
because there was a Batwoman in the Silver Age of Batman. There was Batwoman and Batgirl.
Who was Batwoman?
Kathy Kane.
Who the hell is Kathy Kane?
Bruce Wayne's cousin, I think it
Who's
was.
Kate Kane then?
I don't remember. But there was a Silver Age version of Batwoman who was in the Silver Age, but she never made it really past Crisis on Infinite Earths. Whereas 52, they had introduced a brand new Batwoman in the main DC universe.
Okay, so Kate Kane, an elite crime fighter, stands as one of Gotham's most skilled vigilantes, bringing her own flair to the Bat family. Now, if I remember, doesn't she date or have an on and off relationship with Montoya?
Renee Montoya.
Who is...
Becomes the Question in 52.
She does?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know we had a female Question. That's pretty cool.
Yep, because Vic dies, so she takes over the role.
Does she have conspiracy theory after conspiracy theory as well?
Not as bad.
But she does.
But, well, mostly she took on the mantle because it was her best way to investigate people.
Because I don't know, honestly, I don't know a lot about the Question outside of the cartoon show where he literally had the most ridiculous conspiracy theories. And I loved it because I've been, ever since I was a kid, I don't know what it is, I've always loved history and conspiracy theories. I think it's probably because I listened to all of those radio shows from the 40s and 50s, and they were so odd like that. So when the Question from the cartoon came about, and he had that personality that was like from the 40s and 50s, I was like, I can get behind
That would
this.
make sense since he's a 40s character.
Oh, I didn't know that. But Kate Kane, I know the really cool thing about her. Now, this is cool and that's it. But she was one of the few out characters in comics in the early 2000s, which wasn't a very commonplace thing. And because I know they tried to make some of the characters in the New 52 out when they were never an out character before, and it seemed like they were pandering.
Yep.
Where this character, she was out from the onset of her creation.
Well, and then because Marvel was doing the same thing because Quicksilver, which
it kind of worked to a degree, but It was still pandering.
I mean, he was married to Crystal, and they had kids.
Well, that's why I said it could work. Like he could be bi, but I feel like it rewrote history for a character that would confuse people. I'm thinking the same thing of like Alan.
No, Mystique and Destiny.
Well, she's always been bi, but a lot of people gently ignored it because of the way the comics were written. You never knew if it was her doing certain things or if it was the actual person. So I think that's how they could get around that, because if they tried to have an out character even in the 60s and 70s.
The subtlety
really
is very strong between Mystique and Destiny.
Well, I'm not saying it isn't, but they don't have it like slap you in the face.
No, they don't slap you in the face. But
like, because Kate, they slap you in the face and like, you're going to have to get over the fact of your homophobia. This is a very strong female character who's not strong because she's a lesbian, but that's just a part of who she is,
right.
Not what she is.
No,
whereas,
not like what the CW show did.
Well, exactly. Or like they did when they pandered some of the characters when they did the New 52, and they tried to make their sexuality who they were versus a part of that.
Like Alan
overall.
Scott.
Yes, that's who I was thinking of, Alan Scott. No, don't get me wrong, I liked the first few comics I read of Alan Scott, but I did feel it was pandering, knowing of the
well, that
history.
and because they wiped out his kids to do this.
Well, that's the thing. It's like if people grow, that's a different thing. So your next character is also created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, created in 1964, appearing in X-Men numeral 4.
Scarlet Witch?
Yes. Now, let me ask you this question. Wanda Maximoff, in 1964, because it's so early in X-Men, was she Magneto's daughter at the time?
They never revealed if they were Magneto's children for... I don't even know if they... I don't think they ever revealed it, period, in the original X-Men run.
Because I always knew that Wanda and Quicksilver were Magneto's children. But to hear that there was a part of history where they weren't in comics, it confused me.
Well, then they retconned it, and then they re-retconned. And... But no, in the original comics, it was never stated who their parents were. And then... I think it was after X-Men was canceled, in an Avengers comic, Magneto was revealed to be their father. But
wasn't he like a bad dad? Even in
the Claremont run, it's not really discussed.
Mm. So, it is.
By that point, yes, but it wasn't obvious, and it wasn't something that was done. Man, I'm trying to think if they ever did bring it up in the original X-Men run. Because Magneto was using Quicksilver as a means to get Scarlet Witch to work for him.
Because they're twins.
Because he was threatening that he would harm Quicksilver if Scarlet Witch did not... Or was that reverse? Was it he was threatening to hurt Scarlet Witch if Quicksilver didn't... I forget. But there was nothing originally indicating he was indeed their parents originally.
He was indeed their father.
Because he... Yeah, that. Because he tried to convince Polaris he was her father. And then they did a DNA test and, oh, no, that...
You're not the father!
Or there was something, but the doctor said no. He is. Her family, her parents are blah blah blah.
See, I would love to watch like a Maury Povich joke skit of all of the assumed and actual parental.
But then
families.
at some point in the early 2000s, they retconned that he was Polaris's father.
Now. Is it that he abandoned his children, or...
And
was the mother a mutant, or no?
No. Magda
Why did he get together with a woman when he's like all this mutant supremacy, and then he?
Well, it was her death that. It was his wife's death that made him decide to go on the full genocidal route.
Because he lost the one person who kept him sane?
I think so. I think that's how it goes. Because his wife died, and then he became enemies with Charles. Because him and Charles were friends. They fought Baron Strucker together with Gabby. Gabby is Charles's first wife?
Oh, I didn't know he was married.
Well, actually, I don't know if they're fully married, but because she's the mother of Legion.
Because he's not even married to Lilandra. They're just together. Or are they officially married?
I don't know.
Well, we're getting far off topic of Scarlet Witch, but it all revolves around the family dynamics.
And then she did one that what you call it crap, House of M crap, where she wiped out the mutant race.
Back.
And then they no longer were Magneto's kids, but then they might actually be Magneto's kids. It's hard to keep track of these days. That's the one problem when you have all these characters that go on and on and on and on and on and on and on without any ending, because then they have to keep retconning it.
Well, yeah, because he's like a great-great-great-great-great-grandfather by now. Not literally, but you know what I mean. But then again, there's people who don't believe the Holocaust existed, so who knows. Number 9 also was created in 1964 by Gardner Fox and Murphy Anderson. Never heard of these names before. And first appearance was Hawkman, number 4.
Hawkgirl?
Nope. Zatanna.
Oh, Zatanna. Okay.
A powerful sorceress and stage musician, Zatanna is one of DC's greatest magic
really?
users.
They put her on the list, but not Raven?
Often associated with the Justice League Dark.
Well, in modern times.
Okay, well, yeah. We have one more, and I can guarantee you Raven's not on this list.
So they put Zatanna over Raven? Really?
I didn't know she first appeared in Hawkman. I thought she would first appear in Batman because of Zatan, her dad.
No, Zatara was
Zatara.
part of the Justice Society.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And
see, I learned something new.
Then they wanted to make a female version of Zatara, so they created Zatanna.
Who is the daughter of Zatara, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else that I don't know about Zatanna? Because I just know her mainly from
Batman the Animated Series and Justice League?
Yeah. She seemed powerful, but...
Yes, she participated in the storyline that they used to mind wipe villains and superheroes villains who found out the identities of superheroes and then mind wiped any of the heroes who disagreed with their decision to mind wipe the villains.
I was going to say, I remember you talking about that storyline.
Identity Crisis.
It was excessively cruel.
Yep.
And wasn't Batman one of the people who was mind wiped?
Yep.
Because
he disagreed with their decision to mind wipe villains.
Well, just because that's... Yes, it puts people at risk, but it's not like you can't put A plus B together. However, we have come to the conclusion that Superman and Supergirl, we now know those damn glasses apparently can change the entire appearance.
Or you have the Justice League episode where Luthor and Flash's body... Well, at least I can find out who Flash is. Shh, I have no idea who that is.
Oh, that was such a great episode. All right. Number 10 is back with Marvel. Just so you know, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people on this list have been from Marvel.
Okay.
This is our newest character.
Kamala?
Mm-hmm. Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, created by Sana Amanat, Stephen Wacker, G. Willow Wilson, Adrian Alfana, and Jamie McKelvey. She appeared in Captain Marvel number 14 in 2013. Kamala Khan is a young Pakistani-American hero with shape-shifting powers who has become a fan favorite and a fresh voice in modern comics. Now, I know we liked the Miss Marvel television show, and we thought she was the best part of the Marvels movie. But do you know anything beyond?
Well, yeah, she appears in some of my Spider-Man comics. She was a fun character. She's kind of quirky. She actually has felt like a lot of Peter Parker when he was first introduced originally in the 60s. She's like a modern-day Peter Parker because she's a child hero who's dealing with real-life issues, especially being a Muslim in post-9/11 America.
Well, that's the one thing I got a feel for it. It sounded like Sana Amanat had helped write the
TV show.
I
think so.
Because I believe the young lady, and I can't remember her name off top.
Iman.
Yeah, Iman. I can't remember her last name. But she even said they talked about being Muslim, Pakistani, having family in Pakistan, and not dealing with in a negative, but living with having the cultural pressures of having a very traditional family that still does everything that they typically do. And it was fascinating because I myself have met numerous Muslim individuals throughout my life, but typically one thing that I've always noticed is compared to outlandish Christians or even willing to chat Jewish individuals, anyone of the Islamic faith is a little bit more private with their faith and how they act. And the first time I really got to experience it was when I was going for my first master's degree, and one of my classmates during Ramadan could not break his fast right away until we got to sundown, as a sunset, as well as there was a time during, and he always apologized, and everybody told him not to worry, he always prayed. And so he would still listen in class, but had to fulfill the, for lack of a better way of saying it, the requirements of faith. So learning a little bit more, even from a TV show perspective, was very nice for, truthfully, a white American. I got to learn a lot and actually see even white Americans in the show who practice Islam participating. Like her one friend, I don't know if she truly was white, but she looked hella white, like Irish white. And she wore the hijab and everything. So it was impactful. And once again, the one thing I liked about everything I saw is, just like what we talked about with Kate Kane, being Muslim is just a part of who she was, not who she was as a heroine. So with this, do you agree with the top? I know there's so many female characters out there.
Obviously, I think Raven should have been on there over Zatanna. I understand why they did put Kamala on there, but at the same time, I think it should have been Rogue.
Well, I probably feel like they didn't
or Dazzler. Dazzler or Rogue.
Well, Dazzler, not enough people know about.
I know, which is a shame. And I also feel like they should have had Monica Rambeau on there instead of Carol. But most of the list made sense, but it seemed like it was more of the more popular characters than the best characters.
Well, who would you say are some of the best characters?
Well, Storm.
Well, okay, out of your biases.
Well, as I said, Raven and...
Well, how long has Raven been around as a character?
1981? 1980?
Okay, and how about Monica Rambeau? Because I know isn't she, or was that the movie where she was the daughter of Carol's friend?
Yeah, that's...
Oh, okay.
Monica Rambeau was a police officer in the comics because she appeared in Spider-Man during the Roger Stern run in the 80s. In the annual, she received the powers when Captain Marvel was killed by... No, was it Thanos? Might have been Thanos.
I thought Marvel gave Danvers the powers.
They went to Monica because they traveled the galaxy, went into Monica. So in the Spider-Man annual, she becomes Captain Marvel.
So how did Carol get her powers?
That was something in more of the early 2000s.
Oh, because it kind of felt like it stole from the whole Green Lantern feeling.
I don't know when Carol became Captain Marvel. I just know at some point I picked up a Marvel comic and it was like, oh, Carol is Captain Marvel. I was like, wait, what?
Because you always knew it as Monica Rambeau.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And... No, that's awesome. And what about Dazzler, since you mentioned her?
Well, Dazzler appeared in the Phoenix Saga, or the Dark Phoenix Saga.
How long has Dazzler been around as a character?
Since 1980.
Oh, so she's not a more recent character, but she was in the Bronze? Wasn't it considered Bronze?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, because she had her own comic series, obviously, of the Omnibus. And Rogue was a prominent villain of hers at the time.
Well, and that's why I wondered why I felt they didn't put Rogue in this because she was a villain for a number of years.
And then, so it's when Dazzler joins the X-Men, it creates tension between her and Rogue because they were enemies.
But if they were enemies already, how is it creating tension that she's with the X-Men?
Because when Dazzler joins the X-Men, she's still thinking of the Rogue who tried to kill her a few times. So it took...
because Rogue was in the X-Men at that time.
Yeah.
Okay, that's where I was confused.
Because Dazzler and Longshot and Psylocke join the X-Men, who are Storm, Wolverine, Rogue, and Colossus.
Okay. No, that's interesting. Anybody else that you think could be an important...
Psylocke.
And Psylocke, weren't there multiple Psylocks?
Well, Psylocke is Captain Britain's sister.
Mm-hmm.
And then she...
I always thought of her as an Asian woman.
I'm going to get to that.
Oh, okay.
So Psylocke was Captain Britain for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Lost her abilities to be Captain Britain, was captured by Mojo and Spyro. Mm-hmm. Oh, and when she lost her abilities as Captain Britain, she lost her eyes. Her sight.
Oh, she was like a blind
she was blinded.
Swordsman in a way.
Mojo and Spyro captured her, gave her new eyes, because their plan was they would use her eyes to spot... when she got freed by the X-Men, she joined the X-Men, they figured they'd use her eyes to spy on the X-Men without her knowledge. And then at some point she's captured and the ninja assassin named Kwannon is there. She's assigned to infiltrate the X-Men, so they swap their brains in each other's bodies so that Kwannon...
Willingly?
No.
Oh, okay.
Kwannon's willingly does it. So Kwannon's brain goes into Psylocke's body because she wants to infiltrate the X-Men. Mm-hmm. And that's how Psylocke becomes Asian, is because her brain's in Kwannon's body.
Okay. Because I remember when reading the comics, she always talked with a Brit accent based on the writing. Mm-hmm. And... that makes more sense now. So she's British in mind,
but she's in an Asian body, and in recent times they switched them back. So Kwannon there's two Psylocks, but Betsy has become Captain Britain again.
So
and Kwannon is now using the name Psylocke.
So Kwannon is also a good person, or is she evil because of the whole Hellfire Club?
She has nothing to do with the Hellfire Club.
But when I read some comics with Psylocke, she was with a dude from Hellfire.
I don't know that part.
I'm so confused. Once again, it's such a soap opera.
But anyway, so those would probably be the ones I'd put in there over Carol.
But did it seem like AI got accurate on different things?
It was fine list.
No true arguments, though. I'm a little disappointed. But that's to be expected. There's going to be good times.
There were good times, there were bad times, and more bad times, and more bad times, and there's a whole lot of bad times.
All right.
So, that's all we got. Who are your favorite female superheroes? Let us know in the comments. Click like, subscribe, the bell notification, whatever else YouTube guys are clicking on to support us. You can support us on Patreon and Bluesky at Toku AAN Network, Facebook, Instagram, Discord at Kaiju no Kami, my website, creativitybydesignllc.com. You can buy cool Kaiju no Kami
wow!
Cool Kaiju no Kami merchandise at creativitybydesignllc.com/shop. There's also a link in the description below. There's also a link for a GoFundMe to help us out, to help fund the channel so we can last another 10 years. And that's all I got as I continue to slur my words around. Until next time, bye.